It's like history repeating itself, ladies and gentlemen. And it's amazing how mainstream media and the mainstream culture can just do a complete 180 in a matter of seconds. Like it was just a quick whim, and it's unbelievable how fast things have turned and how crazy things are getting. And especially with what's been happening with the whole Ukraine Russia proxy war that's going on over there, it really is fathomable that, before the supposed Russian invasion, mainstream media confirmed that there was growing concerns about the Ukraine Nazi problem. We've shown countless articles, we've shown you the reports, even in Canadian media. City News did a report on how our military was aligning itself and training Nazis to fight in battle. And you've seen these articles before. I want to just show it again to remind people just how things have quickly did a complete 180, because they know firsthand that Ukraine's Nazi problem is a real situation. It's real. They know that it's happening, but all of a sudden we went from doing this and pointing out the fact that we're aligning ourselves with white supremacists, that we're aligning ourselves with actual Nazis, confirmed and conformed, and how immediately they just became our allies. They became friends of ours. We're now supporting them through this ridiculous tirade, through this charade, through this proxy war of, manufacturing this aggressive war against Russia to the point of nuclear annihilation, which hopefully we don't get to that, which is why I am doing everything in my power to try to prevent it as much as possible. And it's sad that very few voices are being heard about that. And the few voices that are mentioning not going to nuclear war and ending this war and actually having peace and diplomacy are the ones that get silenced out, beaten out, and called the worst names imaginable. They get smeared constantly. You saw what happened with even Bernie Sanders calling Nick Brana and saying who he's paid for because he wants to stop nuclear war. Like how unbelievable things have turned, how crazy and barbaric our situation has gone. And this is just how crazy this is. And like I said, take 2 seconds out of your day. If you really want to know what's happening, go look at the history of Ukraine and Russia, how Ukraine started, and go look at the 2014 coup, go look at the Minsk Accord that NATO countries have ignored, and the peace agreements that they weren't supposed to expand itself into Eastern territories and expand itself aligned into Russia. They completely ignored that and went and did it anyway. We have heavy military presence around Russia before even any of this happened. They knew this was going to happen. There's professors that predicted this moment was going to happen because we spent money. We aligned ourselves. We had operations. We tried everything in the book since the end of the Cold War to manufacture an aggression towards Russia. And now we got Ukraine as a prong. And they're abusing people left, right, and center. Ukrainians, Russians, everybody imaginable in this unspeakable massacre that's fabricated, that's completely misleading, that's completely manufactured by the establishment, by the military-industrial complex to put us in this position. And they know firsthand exactly what they're doing. They know firsthand that they're aligning themselves with neo-Nazis, but now they're friends. Now they're allies. Now we're funneling money towards them. Now we're, providing shelter and food and security for them, even though back home we have an outrageous homelessness epidemic. We have people that are literally dying out in the streets. There's people that are selling their own blood in order to survive. We have so many situations back home that we completely captured our entire federal reserves, our tax system that's supposed to go towards services here, and we completely money laundered into this most corrupt, insane war. But here's where this gets really, really daunting. So, there's an old video before this year shows Ukrainian youth have been prepared over the past 10 years to hate and kill the Russians or Russian speakers that live in Ukraine. Now all this has come to fruition. So it's literally like history repeating itself. Because if you know about World War II, you know about Hitler Youth, you know how the German Nazi parties were trying to control the children. They were supposed to be the new upbringing, and they were trying to manipulate them and think that, you know, we have to go after the Jews, we have to go after these people, and basically brainwash and manipulate them the same way the United States is brainwashing us to believe that, you know, we're fighting the evil Putin when really we're just doing massacres for gas companies and exploiting people. It literally is history repeating itself, and this is so unbelievably daunting that no network, not even the Young Turks, not even the so-called progressive networks, because even the so-called progressive networks are on the side of this war. They want to continue this to the point of nuclear war. They're hoping that we get a completely demolished and wiped off the face of the earth if it somehow owns Putin and somehow they can career climb after it. Like, it's just so ridiculous. But just watch. Just watch how really disturbing this is. And I don't even know if I can really show this because YouTube might have a heyday. But I'm going to take the risk. I'm taking the risk because this is something that can't go unseen.
These are the children of Ukraine, whose adults are teaching them to hate and prepare for war.
Москаляку на гиляку. Русского на кол посадить, получается так. Это невероятное зверство. Я не понимаю, как это может звучать из уст ребенка.
A sweets fair is held at a school in the city of Nikolaev. The cookies are named Zhirinovsky's brain. There are blue and yellow stars on the Kremlin and a drink called the blood of Russian babies.
You think that's literally what they said about, you know, Middle Eastern countries. This is the stuff they said back in the 2000s. And I remember, you know, there was people and they were so completely messed up with that, you know, they wanted the aggression. They wanted just to massacre everybody, that they couldn't care less. That, oh, we gotta just kill off everybody. And they don't even realize why they were doing it. They don't even realize why they were saying it. And that's what's happening here. Think of young kids that are saying these words, that are uttering these phrases, and they don't even know why. They don't even know what exactly would possess you to utter those words, other than the fact that you've been manipulated, you've been brainwashed, you've been completely controlled by this regime that we installed. We installed this regime. We installed Zelensky, this former comedian, turned into a politician and aligned itself with neo-Nazis. We were taking part of it. We were the one that established the 2014 Maidan coup. We were the ones that took control of it.
All prepared by children with full approval from teachers and parents.
Это и есть нацизм в чистом виде. Потому что ребенок рождается, ему внушают, что русский твой враг, что его лучше всего убить.
The editor-in-chief of Lugansk TV, Leonard Sviatoskov, witnessed how the history of Ukraine was gradually rewritten and how its values were substituted for something else.
Sounds a lot like the Second World War. Sounds like the things that Adolf Hitler was doing, or Mussolini, or any of them. Or even when they, you know, when we hear the fabricated propaganda about these evil dictators. They say the same stuff about North Korea all the time. How they're rewriting history, how it's an evil dictatorship, how, oh, they're manipulating the children to go after, hatred of all these different people. And somehow the United States is always the good one. We're always the good one. We're the innocent ones. We're just going over country to country and dropping, hugging bombs and giving pats on the back through missiles and warplanes. They're just dropping smiles. Come on. We're the innocent ones.
Я видел, как из обыкновенных детей пытались сделать украинцев. Начали говорить, что русские и украинцы – это абсолютно разные люди. Более того, они враги.
Почему мой ребенок другой? Я ему не говорю, убей украинца. Абсолютно. Мой сын об этом даже не помышляет. Он хочет одного, он хочет справедливости и объективности. Это то, о чем мы просим уже весь мир 8 лет.
Wow. And again, they'll not show you this because it would completely blow this into proportion. It would make people realize exactly what we're doing. How we are manufacturing and adding so much fuel to this fire to allow this to happen. That we, as North Americans, because it's the United States, it's Canada that's involved in this, and all the other NATO countries, all the European nations that are about to freeze their ass off this winter, because of this, because we're funding this, because we're funding the uprising of Nazis. And these aren't just, it's not just a lighthearted word. It's not, just throwing the word around. These are confirmed. These are self-proud Nazis. That are established because of us. Because we manufactured this war. We manufactured this entire aggression to get Nazism back into reboot mode. And now we just sent them billions upon billions of dollars to allow this to happen to the point of nuclear annihilation. That's why this is a big deal, ladies and gentlemen. That is why this is chaotic. And it's amazing that the loudest voices who screamed out against, Vietnam and screamed out against the Iraq invasion and screamed out about Afghanistan are now okay with this. That is how unbelievably unhinged this really is. That people can just do a complete 180 and allow this to happen. Oh, well, because it's Putin, somehow it's okay. Somehow it's okay. But you were the loudest voices against war. But now it's okay for war because you're justifying the fact that, well, I guess there's some good Nazis out there. And it's not just the, pink-haired liberals saying that a Trumpster is a Nazi. These are actually murdering thugs. These are actually people that want to massacre an entire group of people and do an ethnic cleansing of their entire nation and do it abroad. They're trying to expand it into other territories. Just how unbelievably crazy this is. And here's also another proof, just to remind you that all your tax dollars, who it's actually going towards. And you tell me what this kind of looks like. It's amazing that people can rail against, like Scientology and saying how an evil cult it is, which it is. I'm not dismissing that. But it's amazing the amount of people that will call out that, but not this. It's amazing the amount of people that know about the history about World War II and will call out, Hitler Youth and the Nazi programs they were using and how nefarious the regime was and how Adolf Hitler was this terrible person, but won't call out this. And in fact, the people that call out this, myself and other individuals that want to end this war and don't want, rebirthing of white supremacy and Nazism, anyone that calls it out, they're the ones that get hit. They're the ones that get silenced out. They're the ones that get pushed around. They're the ones that get smeared. Because they don't want to fund Nazis. They're not picking, choosing, and cookie cuttering their way of defending certain types of Nazis compared to other ones. Oh, it's okay because these people, we got to protect, just shut up. You're ruining the whole plan. Amship said it perfectly. We're fighting Russia over there so we don't have to fight over here. Come on. Something we've always wanted to do since the end of the Cold War. Come on. Why do you have to point out things that are completely obvious to people? I mean, seriously, even if you didn't know who these people are, which they're the Azov Battalion, but if you didn't know exactly who these people are, just kind of look at the surroundings. You have a bunch of soldiers with torches and flags that have the exact same symbols on it, and they're pledging an allegiance. Pretty much all the ingredients of an evil cult. Pretty much all the ingredients of some sort of fascist regime. And that is exactly what we're funding. And all these countries that are, bailing out their tax dollars and bailing out their Federal Reserves to push this further along because this is about democracy, this is about humanitarianism, this is about the taking down notorious Russia and all the unspeakable, inhumane things that we do, that they've done. But we're okay to defend this. Even though literally before this, literally last year, they confirmed that these were Nazis. Now they're allies. Just amazing how fast people can do a complete 180. Unspeakable. And here's also this to point out. Because now they've infiltrated directly to the American media. So this is from November 10th. And this guy, Moss Robson, points out that tomorrow, so November 11th, Azov Regiment press spokesperson Dmytro Kazatsky, a blatant neo-Nazi, is joining a motorcade from Washington to New York and will be speaking at the School of Visual Arts Theater in Manhattan as a part of the United States' largest documentary festival. A neo-Nazi is taking part and getting a motorcade from Washington to New York to be part of a film festival. Meanwhile, you have journalists that are being killed for covering this. You have Oliver Stone and his documentary, Ukraine on Fire, completely wiped off of YouTube. They took it off. He had to go onto Rumble. I think now it's back. I think that they put it back on. I don't know exactly what happened afterwards. You think of all the people that have been silenced out globally around the entire planet for trying to report accurately on this, the critical thinkers out there, the investigative journalists, the people that know better not to trust the military, not to trust the military apparatus, not to trust the security state that has lied us into every single war and are actually taking things to their own hands and actually determining for themselves and revealing to the people. This is exactly what is happening. Those people get silenced out. But it's okay to have a neo-Nazi at a documentary festival. Just like it's okay to have this guy also on MSNBC. So they're directly inviting them on to American media. Neo-Nazis. First it was the former CIA directors. They had CIA officials to go on the mainstream media to lie and manipulate and fearmonger so we can get into the wars. Now we're getting neo-Nazis to also contribute. Meanwhile, actual journalists get silenced out, get completely obliterated, and to the point of either death or locked in prison. I mean, look at Julian Assange. Look at the report we covered from Germany. She was at the Donbass region. She was reporting objectively of what she saw, and what happened to her? Her assets completely frozen. She was kicked out of her house. She lost her bank account. She lost all of her finances, and she was facing prison time for being a journalist. This is the disturbing age that we live in, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to keep doing my part to point all this out, because I don't want to be in nuclear war. I don't want to be in any war, period. I mean, that's why I'm wearing this shirt. You can check it out at the Kitz Corner store on Teespring. Yes, I had to do a shameless plug there. But this is just unbelievably bizarre. And it's almost like the entire globe is in this parallel weird universe where we're just collectively brainwashed and manipulated to get to this point of basically almost like a collective suicide thought or a collective death wish to allow us to the point of nuclear war where nobody is allowed to question, nobody is allowed to stop this, nobody's allowed to de-escalate war tensions, which is what I recommend. I don't care who the person is. I don't care if they're Republican, Democrat, Independent, Libertarian. I don't care what state they come from or country. I don't care who they are. Their last name could be Warburg, for all I care. If they're willing to de-escalate tensions and actually get to a peace negotiation, then good on them. Good on them. I champion them 100%. But the rest of you, goddamn, screw you all, and you will all pretty much burn in hell. And I'm not a religious person, so I don't know if that really means anything, but it's so unbelievable. Even the phony, fake lefties on Twitter just completely baffles my mind on just how far they're willing to push this, how far they're willing to do mental gymnastics to defend stuff like this when they know firsthand, they know out in the open, to not trust the mainstream media on war. Do not trust the military-industrial complex on their intelligence reports. Do not trust the CIA. Do not trust the FBI in their reports on this. After all the years that we have done Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, we're still occupying Somalia. We're still doing genocides in Yemen. We're starting to look into Iran and doing invasions there. We're looking into more of Latin America because we need to fix their democracy, because apparently ours is such a success, which is just an unbelievable joke. We can't even have our own fucking democracy, but somehow we're good enough to go fix another country's. God, like, how stupid that is. How goddamn stupid it is. How is it that I'm willing to point that out, but nobody else will? I don't know. Maybe it just takes courage. Maybe it takes stance. Maybe because I'm not bought out by the machine. Just say no to war.